Hard work. One of the oldest quotes in the NBA is hard work beats talent when talent fails to work hard. It's just as true in the NBA as it is in football, golf, or even MMA. And to me in the NBA, the crown jewel for hard work beating talent time and time again is this guy. Giannis Antetokounmpo is still very, very good. In fact, these days he might be the best player in the NBA. He's quicker and a whole lot more fluid than Joel Embiid. He's longer than LeBron James, and way more instinctive than any other power forward in the league. Watching him inevitably drive through the lane and dunk on my favorite player in the league makes it almost impossible to not see a carbon copy mix of the great Shaquille O'Neal and the legendary Magic Johnson. The speed, the force, the resentment in his pursuit, it all blends together to make Giannis one of the most feared players in the league. He's so difficult to game plan for because unlike other big men in the league that might seem to have cement blocks for their feet, Giannis just continues to grow and evolve his game in the least expected way imaginable. When you see Giannis play the game of basketball, the energy he plays with is second to none, and you very quickly kind of start to understand why out of all the great players in the NBA today, Giannis is the one that continuously gets your and my undivided attention. Seriously. 2 years ago, Giannis won the NBA Most Valuable Player award, and yet somehow he has improved his game that season and the season coming by just as much, if not more, than he did in 2017 to 2018 to 2018 to 2019. And as a matter of fact, since he's been in the NBA, his game has massively evolved so much that you could legit make the case that he should have been the MVP and the most improved player the last 5 seasons. But how did he get here? How did he go from averaging 26 points per game to now 30? Well, for starters, here we see the primary ball handler signaling for Giannis to gear up and set a pick and roll while also moving to his left to buy time for Giannis to slip out and roll to the rim. Giannis, per usual, does in fact slip through both defenders and catches the ball at the top of the free throw line. But Karl-Anthony Towns is quick to the beat and steps up before Giannis can plant both feet on the ground. This is where in most cases the man at the top of the free throw line would pass it back out to the guard or post up and take a heavily contested low percentage shot. But there's no worries on Giannis's end because he'll very commonly take 1 pound dribble, lower his shoulder into your chest, and dunk it right over you. It's plays like this that Giannis makes night in and night out that differentiates his game from any other star player in the NBA. The multiple different sets in a game that Mike Budenholzer is able to throw at a team is uncanny, and it starts and ends with Giannis. For instance, here in transition we see Giannis quickly push the ball up the court with 3 defenders in the paint, anticipating he'll drive straight towards them. As Giannis continues to push the ball up the court, he quickly realizes there's only 2 teammates to the right and the left of him on both ends of the wing. But for some odd reason, they don't look ready to shoot or really ready to do anything. So without thinking about it, Giannis gives a quick pace-changing cross jab and immediately lowers his head going straight for the paint, where he averaged a league third most 14.3 points per game last season. In fact, Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks are probably the most diverse, dominant team in the league in terms of how they can throw any type of offense at you while keeping it at a normal pace. How do you stop this? Quite frankly, you can't. At 27 years old, Giannis is about to embark on yet another season with top odds to win the finals, with fans and GMs still holding him as the #1 power forward and player in the league. But let's be honest, we already knew this. Everyone knew Giannis was the most dominant player to grace a basketball court since Shaq and the most hardworking guy to come into the league 6 years ago. And although we know Giannis is one of NBA history's most efficient volume scorers, you also probably know he scores predominantly from inside the 15-foot mark. And unlike how we see most big men in the league score, where we see dump-offs, traditional pick and pops, surface level underneath the basket lay-ins come into play, Giannis more so charges at a defender and uses a Euro step when they sag off. Or in most cases an isolation inverted Euro if he feels like switching it up a bit, cross jabs, spin finishes, and in every game occurrence bump Euro. And with that being said, we also knew Giannis wasn't the most dependent on shooting the ball from anywhere outside of the 15-foot mark. But what if I told you Giannis is now a somewhat capable shooter and he's only gotten better over the course of 3 years? Hard to believe, but it's actually true. In the last 3 years, Giannis, a predominant paint threat, is now putting up 4.7 and 3.6 attempts per game on an average of 30% completion percentage, knocking down 89 threes in 2019, then dipping down to 67 in 2020, and now back up to 71 in 2021. Giannis isn't Steph or KD, but compared to his previous 3-point stats, where he only averaged a little over 2 threes per game on higher completion percentages but less makes and less respect on the floor, these stats are pretty impressive and can for sure be the part of the reason why Giannis has put up 30 points per game over the last 3 years. For example, Giannis here is in half court and staring down a respectable defender with Pat Connaughton to the left of him, expecting Giannis to pass it to him. But Giannis, with his newfound confidence in his jump shot, just casually walks right into a pull-up 3 with no hesitation and drills it. And for this specific game, that exact scenario happened over and over again. In fact, for multiple games last season, we'd see Giannis pull off the classic fake handoff into 3, Like here we see Giannis catch the inbound pass from Connaughton and immediately get right into faking the handoff to shake off his primary defender. But as you see here, most players still don't respect Giannis' jumper. They quite often sag off or go underneath screens anticipating he'll just drive or pass, but Giannis has evolved so much that he'll just calmly knock down a three like this and get back on defense. For all intents and purposes, I didn't even think it was possible to see Giannis have the technical evolution of a legit shooter in the ever-growing frame he has now. But here we are. The bar, in my opinion, has officially been raised. The excellence we compare current and future prospects to has been reset. If 2020 or 2021 is the type of production we can start to expect from Giannis, when in fact I still feel like he hasn't even began to master the art of three-point shooting, just imagine what he'll be doing in 3 or even the next season upon us. The Bucks and Giannis are in for another stellar season, and with that being said, who knows, maybe they'll win another championship. But as for now, that's gonna do it. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe.